Leaks on Russian gas pipelines raise concerns about sabotage. Yep, I did it.
Всем привет, на связи первый танковый полк. Нам официально сказали, что подготовки перед отправкой в зону боевых действий не будет. Официальные командиры полка подтвердили эту информацию. Это у нас отправка предстоит в Херсон. Поэтому думайте сами, решайте сами, что делать с этим.
Good luck out there, dude. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to pilot a tank? No training? Okay. Have fun. So the problem with, as I understand it, one of the problems with tanks is that, like, they're all built different. They're literally all built different, right? Like, if you get training for one, you don't have training for the other. So I don't know what, like, the type they're using is. Like, I don't know if I could show you what the interior is. Hold on.
В дальнейшем.
Никакой переподготовки от слова того, что не стрельб,
не стрельб, не
теоретически.
You're gonna die.
Не теории.
This ain't conscript boot camp. This is the goddamn Kharkiv Oblast. You're gonna die out here, son. Oh, good luck. What does it look like in a tank?
For today's video, we're going military.
Shut up.
Honor of United States tank was phobic. Also, such as the armor, M1, and here's the 100 gallons. Compared to the average car,
500 gallons. 0.6 miles per gallon. Me.
25 miles per gallon. So it's a gas guzzler, but it's heavy and powerful.
Is it a gas guzzler? It's not efficient. We don't have electric tanks yet.
We have the Caterpillar track. The tank holds a crew more specific called tank. It does also have good idea to stay on paved roads. At the time, it's
Wait, what?
The tank can even climb some very steep hills.
Whoa.
Most of the time, it's still a smooth ride for those inside the tank. The tank is steered by altering the speed of...
That's dope. Can you imagine if we lived in a world where, like, we just didn't believe in wheels and all basic transportation was Caterpillar tread based? That'd be dope. We'd be really slow, but, like, that'd be cool.
The tracks. For example, to turn left, the right tracks need to move faster than the left tracks. 1500. However,
show the crew inside the turret.
This engine is behind the gunner. Inside,
this is like Darling in the Franxx, okay? In order to man the turret of an M1A2 Abrams, you have to have the girl with her ass up, and the guy has to fuck her, and that's how they do the turret.
Of the turret, you'll find 3 out of the 4 crew members. It's a bit cozy in here. The gunner sits down below to the very right. The commander sits directly behind the gunner. The loader is off to the left of the main gun. When the turret rotates, all 3 of these crew members rotate with it. Underneath here, this is...
Sorry, for all those who haven't seen this dog shit anime. They were like, what if we did Evangelion again, but worse in every possible sense, and also somehow weirder? And what if we made it weird, but not in, like, an artistically or compelling or interesting way?
This is called the turret basket. The seal between the turret and the hull is so good that it can protect the crew inside in case of chemical or nuclear warfare. A few more things I want to show you about this tank. The commander can see 360 degrees around the tank.
Driver.
There's not much room up here either, so the driver has to lay back in the seat. The controls are up here, and 2 brake pedals down here. There's no gas.
There we go, okay, and the second pilot is underneath this first pilot, so their head's right here, and they're sort of doing like a reclining cowgirl position. The cock is in the ass here. See, and their head would be here.
Pedal in the tank. Just use the 2 black handlebars for acceleration and steering. The driver also has periscopes that allow him to see a 120-degree field of view. Usually the driver enters through the hatch up front, but if needed, the driver can climb into the turret and then through a tiny door in the basket and into the seat.
Keep in mind, this is pretty much the best tank in the world. Yeah, it's pretty dope. We have good tanks. Oh yeah, Horseman, I saw this video. Mobilization capture.
Я, Пашков Алексей Владимирович, 77-го года. Призван военным...
Why don't we ever hear anything about Mongolia anymore? It's a very empty country.
21 сентября 2022 года. Ряды Советской армии.
как у советской армии.
I was mobilized by the Moscow draft office on September 21st into the Soviet Red Army. Bruh, Russian army? Yo, the Russian army, yes. Deployed to Kupiansk. So I guess we see where their mind is at the moment. Videos show drunk Russian conscripts asleep, troops refusing to form ranks. Give me the video.
Да вот армия наши чуваки, блядь. Второй, блядь, вообще спать уснул.
Oh my god. Dude, based! King! Yeah! What the f? Absolutely! He doesn't want to kill Ukrainians. He just wants to get drunk and pass out. Absolutely. What would you be doing? Like, at least this will physically prevent you. The nice thing about the Russian military, too, is that you can't get in trouble for getting drunk because they're all drunk. If you, like, for instance, if you're in the US military in boot and you are inebriated when you're told to do something and you're too drunk to do it, they'll just kill you on the shot. They'll just get you down your knees right there and shoot you in the back of the head. They will not tolerate that shit. In Russia, however, because they're all drunk all the time, this is fine, you know? Like, they're just like, oh yeah, Sergey, you know, when he wakes up, we'll bring him over. And then he just gets drunk when he wakes up. Nord Stream sabotage?
Sabotage is thought to be behind 3 leaks in the Nord Stream natural gas pipelines connecting Russia to Europe. Gas bubbles have formed in the Baltic Sea off Denmark and Sweden. The Danish military has released these images of the gas bubbles. The leaks were first spotted on the radar of a passing ship. Denmark has since banned shipping from the area and imposed a no-fly zone. The Nord Stream...
Want to drop a match into this. It's like those like home soda makers where they inject CO2 or whatever. Just this entire section of ocean is now explosive.
Stream 1 and 2 pipelines run from Russia to Germany. Neither is in operation, although both did contain pressurized gas. The Kremlin says it's extremely concerned about the leak. Now, Poland's Prime Minister has called it an act of sabotage without providing any evidence. And Denmark's Prime Minister...
Sabotage seems like a pretty likely claim. Who do you think the most likely culprit would be? It would probably not be Russians, right? The Russians have always been sort of politically incentivized to maintain European dependence on their gas exports. So more likely it would be like separatists or like partisans or just like anti-Russians in the in Western Europe. Finland, Poland, I don't know.
Minister Mette Frederiksen says sabotage is indeed a possibility.
We cannot rule it out. It is too early to draw conclusions yet, but this is an extraordinary situation, an unusual...
It's definitely sabotage. Concrete reinforced underwater pipes don't burst simultaneously. Yeah, those things are very well constructed.
situation. And there are 3 leaks, even with some distance between them, and that is why it's hard to imagine that what's happening is a coincidence.
Practical Engineering did a video. Love that channel, by the way, Practical Engineering. Did a video on the making of the Nord Stream. And basically...
It's 2011?
Basically what they've done is they literally have, like, these gigantic construction barges that float out in the water and, like, assemble and lower... See, they manufacture, like, thousands of miles of ultra-reinforced piping that they spot weld it, like, or not spot weld it, they like make sure it's all up there on the spot, and they literally like lower it into the ocean. And the barge just moves like hundreds of feet a day, just like slowly laying pipe. Literally, look at that. It's on like these rotary treads that just like move it down. It's actually an incredible feat of engineering. It's just shame that it's being done for such like a bad, you know, such a bad like economic cause. And here, there's like the mapping of the undersea that they've done with like sonar to make sure that they're not, and sometimes they have to go over like a bumpy area, and what they do is they literally like drop bombs and they like just blow, like they because they don't want it to be they don't want it to be like too they don't want it to get crimped. They want it to be on flat ground, basically. They send divers down. Yeah, multiple simultaneous leaks in this thing pretty much guarantees sabotage. How'd you even sabotage it? Divers with bombs? You could probably depth charge that motherfucker. It gets pretty close to the water at some points. I don't know what points along the way it was,
Any evidence. Kremlin says it's
right here. I don't know how deep this is, but there are probably. Would this not be terrorism? It would be terrorism. Sorry, close to the surface, yeah.
extremely concerned about the leak. Now, Poland's prime minister has called it an act of sabotage without
accidental or coincidental, and that's why you're hearing from officials saying that there's a possibility that this could have been an act of sabotage. But again, it is still too early to really conclude what was behind those leaks. There are crisis teams meeting.
But who would want that, though? My best guess would be people who do not want Western Europe to be reliant on Russian natural gas exports. Russia wants Europe to trade with them for gas and oil. But you know, that fosters interdependence. So it's hard to say. This isn't really a good thing, though. You know, all this natural gas leaking into the atmosphere isn't, like, great, you know?
In different parts of Europe to try and understand what exactly happened and also what could be the impact, the political but also the economic impact.
Surely civilians wouldn't be capable of this. It had to be done by a government. That's the nature of terrorism, right? I don't know how far underwater this point is. I'm going to guess, actually, that right now at this point in the sea, the pipes are not that far below the water because it looks like, judging from the size of these bubbles, like the gas that's coming up doesn't have much time to expand outwards, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not like super, super, super deep. It might be close enough to the surface that you could like reasonably manufacture like depth charges or something like that. That's just a guess. Obviously, I'm not. Vaush, that's 1 kilometer across. Is it 1 kilometer across? Even then, I feel like, no, it couldn't be because that's the plume right there. I don't think that right there is.
Impact of these leaks on the Nord Stream
I don't think, no, that's not 1 kilometer across. Look at the speed with which the waves are moving across.
Pipelines, the Nord Stream
See?
1 and the Nord Stream 2 pipelines.
If this was 1 kilometer across, these would be like breakneck speed waves. No, I think this is like, I think you could swim across this. You shouldn't, though.
Now, how difficult would it be to attack these pipelines? I understand they're encased in concrete.
Well, you would essentially need to know first, Gerhard, if it was indeed an attack. Again, we're only speculating here, but there have been already analysis pointing to the fact that the extent of the damage would point, if it is an attack, to a state actor.
Would Russia not want to make the West to feel the war during the winter? We already aren't trading via the Nord Stream pipeline. It already got shut down.
But again, this is only speculation, and those crisis teams are trying to identify not only the extent of the damage, some of the latest...
That's not true. Was it just Nord Stream 2 that got shut down? Is Nord Stream 1 still on? Yeah? Oh, I was... okay, I'm totally wrong. I thought this was just like the reserve gas in the pipeline. Both shut down? Nord Stream 1 is limited? Okay, 2 got shut down. Wait, hold on. Is Nord Stream 1 active? You guys... Russia has reduced the amount of gas it supplies to Europe through the key Nord Stream 1 pipeline. Okay, this makes it even more apparent to me. Overwhelmingly, I think this was not done by Russia. This seems to run like completely contradictory to Russian interests, like 100%. Because now, in order for these to even function, they need to be repaired, and this is just like another reason to not rely on Russia for gas exports.
Reports also point to possible explosions along the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines, but also, again, what could be the impact of these damages, in particular for Europe's infrastructure when it comes to gas. That is also a particularly important topic in Europe nowadays.
Now, does this leak,
How much do you think this is going to raise gas prices in Germany? Or sorry, energy prices in Germany? How much of an effect do you think this is going to have? I don't know what proportion of the gas in Germany, or like the energy in Germany, comes from the gas they get from Russia. Where does Germany get their energy? Russia is their biggest oil and gas provider. Energy in Germany. Fossil fuels. Wind, natural gas. Natural gas... Makes up a good portion of it. Nuclear is falling because they're cucked. Coal is still plenty. Okay.
Do these leaks have any measurable effect of the current energy supplies to Europe?
We've heard already from German officials, from the German economy minister, that energy supply is guaranteed, and that has to do with the fact that both pipelines were not in operation. Nord Stream 2 pipeline was never in operation, actually, and gas was flowing less and less from Nord Stream 1. So from that perspective, in the German case, Germany has, in fact, increased its gas reserves around 91%. So from that perspective, energy supply seems to be guaranteed. But there are obviously questions as to what all this means for Europe's vulnerability when it comes to these gas supplies in general, what it also means
nuclear reactors. Stop shutting them down. They're safer than every other method of energy production that we have that isn't like wind and solar. Please. Please. I'm begging you. Nuclear reactors won't help at all. Yes, they will. Stop. I know we need to invest in green energy, but oh my god, they closed nuclear power plants. Why? These gay-ass fucking pseudo-environmental activists pushed people towards using fossil fuels because nuclear energy became a hot-button topic. Vaush, please, you're not informed of the German situation. I'm informed on everything. I know everything. On everything on nuclear power, which is that we should have more of it. That's all you need to know. Please! Building nuclear in Germany would take 10 to 20 years. Then do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! 10 to 20 years? So if you'd started back in 2012, you might have been done by now? Do it! Please! Vaush, our houses can't heat with electricity. Then die! Then perish! Who the f doesn't have electricity-compatible house heating? What, you all have wood furnaces? Perish! Literally the entirety of the UK. Whatever, we're not losing anything. Gas furnaces? Electricity. Did you think you weren't going to have to convert eventually anyway? Wait, did you just think that having houses that could only be heated in the winter through gas furnaces was, like, sustainable? You're Europeans. Aren't you guys supposed to be ahead of the curve when it comes to this bullshit? Jesus Christ. Gas heating. Honestly. Turn everything into electricity. Sorry, Vaush, but you're falling out for propaganda. We don't need nuclear. We need renewables. Get your hands off the keyboard and put them back on the multiple cocks that you were stroking before you type that out, okay? We need renewables, and we need nuclear. We need both. We need lots of everything. We have the money. We have the money. We could do it if we wanted. America could cut 10% of our military budget and become a world leader in both forms of engineering development. We could do anything that we want. We're gods. We literally f***ed the planet up 250 years after the Industrial Revolution. We only can do... That's the dicks in your mouth. We can do anything. Believe in yourself. Okay.
Economically, what it means for the markets. So there are certainly, Gerhard, a lot of questions here as to what the potential impact of this might be, even though, as we're hearing from German officials, that energy supply is for now guaranteed and that the impact on this is certainly not as big as many would have feared maybe a few weeks or a few months ago.
Our political correspondent, Thomas Sparrow, there. Thank you, Thomas.
Where the f should we put the waste? Put the waste... Okay, this is what I mean. When people are anti-nuclear in chat, it really makes me feel like oftentimes they don't like it. Nuclear waste disposal is not a problem. It's just not. It's just not. This is like a solved issue. We have the processes for dealing with nuclear waste disposal, and there's so little of it, like relative to the energy that we produce. You do realize that we produce a ton of waste that we don't even dispose of when we do like oil fracking or whatever, right? Like any mechanism by which you collect and then use fossil fuels produces waste. It just goes into like the groundwater and shit. Whereas nuclear plants burn perfectly clean, and then like every once in a while you just have to bury like a concrete brick somewhere. Oh, shoo, help me. Give me the strength. Bigger waste issue with solar. Yeah, and the rare earth metals we have to use for the fucking panels end up causing more like wastewater with the shit we need to do to mine them. I don't fucking know. Nuclear. Should Iran, North Korea be allowed nuclear plants? Personally, I think they should. Yeah, at least in the case of North Korea, they should probably have a watchdog just to make sure they don't fuck it up, you know. But I'm not afraid of them. Tom Scott did a video. Tom Scott's always doing videos. Would you be willing to have a nuclear power expert slash worker slash knowledgeable person extreme tech? No, because I already know everything. Build more. That's all you need to know. That's it. That's the end of the complexity, okay? If you want to know, what is the question at hand? Should we build more nuclear power plants? I know everything, and the answer is yes. If the question is how do we build them, then you turn to the experts, okay? Oh, sorry, the problem is they take forever to build with renewables dropping in price so quickly it's becoming uneconomical. Fallacy! Fallacy! First of all, just because they're dropping in price now doesn't mean they're not going to rise in price in the future. We don't know how much the relatively lower price of renewable energies are being motivated by price bubbles or by factors that might change in the future. For instance, the availability of lithium is going to have a pretty significant impact on the development of any kind of electric battery-powered infrastructure. Right now, we're treating that like it's a given, but eventually that and helium supplies are going to quickly reform our priorities. Second of all, what's wrong with having a backup? I don't want us to have always, like, just enough potentially resources to do the energy we need. I want a nuclear power plant on every block, okay? I want children to skip past 3 of them on their way to school, all right? I want infinite energy, okay? I want more of all things. I want all of these things and double that, all right? So I want all of them. I want to invest in all. Maybe something happens to renewable energy. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe solar or wind ends up kicking off. Maybe it doesn't. Nuclear reactors, we know they work. Are they expensive? Yes. But is money real? No. It's fake. And the concept of money was invented by the Irish. So don't listen to them and make more giant nuclear power plants.
There is no permanent geologic storage facility anywhere for high-level radioactive waste. The spent nuclear fuel, the really nasty stuff.
You know why that is, by the way? Do you know why that is? Because of you pussies. Because of you gaylords. You betas. That's because of you guys. You know why? Because countries don't want to have it on their territory. That's why. Even though there's nothing unsafe about having these nuclear bunkers. It's all NIMBYs. It's fucking NIMBYs. It's all people thinking that if there's, like, the nuclear nugget dumped 2 miles underground, 5 miles out from their town, that would somehow affect them in some way. Hey, Vaush, answer that shit. Where the fuck do we put that shit? Here! You put it here! Put it here! What the videos on where we put it? It's called In the Tunnels That Will Store Nuclear Waste for 100,000 years. That's what we... That...
has been mired in politics for decades. Finland...
Politics!
Is closest to building their...
I remember people saying we should just shoot that shit into space growing up. Yeah, the problem with that is that, like, 1 in every 5 rockets we send into space blows up, and we really don't want to we don't want to build, like, a dirty bomb that irradiates half of the southeastern United States. So, yeah. Putting it under is probably better. Yeah, keep in mind, like, this stuff doesn't stay radioactive forever, right? It's not like we're poisoning the planet forever. Natural stuff is radioactive. Some stuff stays for a while, but usually I think the spent nuclear fuel, no, not 100,000 years. This is just saying it'll store it for 100,000 years. 500 years, though? This storage system will last 500 years.
The facilities will be closed about 100 years, 6,500 tons for uranium. We are not...
Yes, it's the forbidden dungeon in the post-apocalypse RPG that you all enjoy. You know what I mean? You know that part in all of them where the evil that destroyed the world the first time is, like, laying dormant somewhere, and then you unearth it during, like, one, like, regular fucking dungeon thing, and it's like, oh shit, and then you have to deal with that. This is literally the plot of Adventure Time, since the Lich was the nuclear bomb. That was dope, by the way. I'm glad that a Cartoon Network, like, mainstream show just casually had Nuclear Armageddon as, like, a primary antagonist. Oh yeah, Shu, it's really interesting, like, linguistically. Or, I don't even know if linguistically is the right term. Symbolically? Yeah, it's something. Yeah.